So the first thing that we notice is that this temperature is colder than we had hoped it might be in the worship room. So the first thing to do is to scrunch together, is to move very close to your neighbor, get closely acquainted with them. Excellent. And if you brought a blanket or something and you see someone shivering, please pass it along to that person. We apologize. The heating system for this room is computer operated, and when the computer decides what it's going to do, it's very hard to override and it doesn't respond quickly. So we're hopeful that by the time the congregational meeting comes up this afternoon, this will be a very comfortable room. That won't do us much good now, but when we get up for the hymns, that'll be an opportunity to do a few jumping jacks and keep the blood coursing through your body. I'm the Reverend Ned White, the interim senior minister here at the congregation, welcoming you to our Flower Communion and Anniversary Sunday. We are delighted that you chose to be with us this morning. If you are new to our congregation, you'll find a card in the pew, a blue card that you can fill out, and that'll allow us to make sure you get some additional information about programming here at the congregation. I know we have at least one couple from Florida who's here. I told them, they said they were good for one day, bringing one day of Florida weather to us. They did it. So we're going to have some other helpers from Florida come and help us out in that regard. UU Cafe will immediately follow. If you are a first-time visitor, please return to the welcome desk after the service to get a voucher for a free lunch at UU Cafe, and we'd love to have you join us for that. There was going to be a car wash fundraiser today. In fact, I think that the universe decided that it would wash the cars without assistance. That has been postponed. So we'll prepare for that at another time. The coming of age class is in Boston and Concord this weekend, and we think of them doing their tour of UU historic sites in that area. We have a congregational meeting at 12:45 here in the worship room, followed by a budget hearing. We hope that as many of you as are interested will be able to participate in that. Next week, we are honored and delighted to welcome back to our pulpit the Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, who is the president of the Unitarian Universalist Association. And in order that you might have an opportunity to speak with her and meet her, she's agreed to be at the bagel breakfast at 9:45 in the social hall. So if you can plan to come early, a little early next week, plan to come by the social hall and spend a little time with Susan Frederick Gray before she preaches in our service. There are programs coming up in the week that you will want to check out in your order of service, and we will now greet one another. It's particularly important to greet one another warmly today because it's going to have to tide us over to the next hymn. So please greet one another warmly.
Our opening words are the words of Thich Nhat Hanh. Whenever I touch a flower, I touch the sun, and yet I do not get burned. When I touch the flower, I touch a cloud without flying to the sky. When I touch the flower, I touch my consciousness, your consciousness, and the great planet Earth all at the same time. The miracle is possible because of insight into the nature of interbeing. If you really touch one flower deeply, you touch the whole cosmos. I invite Frank and Maria Doyle to come forward to assist in lighting our chalice this morning. We offer you the words of contemporary mystic Matthew Fox. Looking for and enjoying beauty is a way to nourish the soul. The universe is in the habit of making beauty. There are flowers and songs, snowflakes and smiles, acts of great courage, laughter between friends, a job well done, the smell of freshly baked bread. Beauty is everywhere, and we have hallowed this time together by kindling the flame of our chalice. Friends, would you rise as you're comfortable and join in singing our opening hymn, number 64, "Oh, Give Us the Pleasure in the Flowers Today." Rising as you are comfortable, the words are in your hymnal or on the screen. Please remain standing for our words and song of affirmation, which are printed and projected on this screen and in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, this do we affirm and covenant with each other.
From all that dwell So beautiful. On this Sunday, when we celebrate anniversaries of belonging to this congregation, we also acknowledge a legacy of generosity that has preserved and sustained this community of faith. On this Sunday, when we celebrate flower communion, we also acknowledge the extravagant generosity of the earth, whose abundance sustains all life. In this spirit of generosity, we receive this morning's offering to support our continuing efforts to champion beauty and truth. Will the ushers please come forward?
This year we have 11 anniversary classes to honor. Why do we celebrate anniversaries? Well, we want an opportunity to recollect the years of joy and laughter, of sorrow and tears, the shared experiences that we have all savored through these many years. Gratitude for gifts and talents that have been shared over such a long period of time, and recognizing loyalty, persistence, and perseverance, which is not always an easy thing to muster. Never want to miss a celebratory opportunity. Hallmark greeting card company suggests anniversary gifts by year. So once again, as we did last year, we're going to see how well these suggestions fit in with these particular anniversary classes. I'd like to invite Ben Borton, our Director of Member and Volunteer Coordinators, to come up here and assist, and also worship assistants Laura Torf and Rebecca Smith and Jennifer Brower to come forward as we honor the anniversary classes. We ask you to come forward as your names are called. You'll hear them for each of these classes. For 5 years, this is wood, strong yet flexible, resilient, useful in a million different ways, extraordinarily diverse and beautiful. So please come forward as I read your names. And we'll read all of the people, whether they're here or not. Our wood class: Sarah Barbet, Nina Dobris, Chuck Fenimore, and then I'll ask you to go down. Shanti Flo, Giuseppina Irofino, Sophia Galinaska-Werter, James Klee, Sarah Kremen, Mary Lynch, Gary Munoz, Jennifer Munoz, Eileen Otto, Jonathan Otto, Ursula Salamone, Susan Cito, Jenna Tischler, Gay Wiener. Ladies and gentlemen, our wood class of 5 years.
Aluminum, spectacularly versatile, highly conductive, strong and highly valued. Please come forward as I read your names. Elizabeth Alured, Miriam Bakhtiar, Nancy Benchmall, Peter Birdsall, Claire Brady, Joy Brand, Sarah Kanka, Arlene Cherry, Micheline Cheverny, Alyssa Howe, Jan Klibukowski, Matthew Coos, Lena Mazzilli, Carol McHugh, Mark Miner, Tara Miner, Betty Nuxall, Bob Nuxall, Arthur Rifkin, Eva Rifkin, John Ryan, Stephanie Ryan, Jeffrey Schiff, Lorraine Schiff, Monica Shimnosky, Barry Shirazi, Rebecca Smith, Cynthia Winkler, Paul Winkler. Our aluminum class of 10 years.
"15 years, crystal, clear, transmits and enhances light, dazzles and delights the eye, makes beautiful music, greatly prized. Please come forward as I read your names and remain standing until all 15 have been named. Dorothy Kramer Andrews, Roman Benke, Lawrence Bernstein, Ariel Dundor, Kim O'Brien, Linda Sabatos, David Traco, Lisa Traco, Heidi Warm, Doug Winkler, Irene Winkler, Florence Zaragoza. Our Crystal class of 15 years.
20 years, China. Delicate but strong, incredibly beautiful, sometimes simple, sometimes amazingly complex. Useful, gracious. Please come forward as I read your names. Anne-Marie Ansel, Jim Ansel, Faye Brown, Marcelo da Silva, Stephen Foster, Gerald Gelazzo, Chris Carlson, Christina Crail, Lawrence Perlstein, Janice Schoen. Our China class of 20 years.
"25 years. Silver, lustrous, elegant, valuable, easy to work with, beautiful, delights the eye. Please come forward as I read your names. Douglas Baldwin, Nancy Baldwin, John Bohan, Roberta Bohan, Donald J. Bromberg, Frank Doyle, Barbara DeZorny Green, Tony Friedman, Andrew Green, John Cassius, Nancy Cassius, Gail Goldstein Colon, Jim Smith, Lynn Smith. Our silver class of 25 years.
Years. Pearls, relatively rare, luminous, perfect for many occasions, classic, highly prized. Please come forward as I read your names. Fred Kedu, Carol Campbell, Lauren First, Charles Greco, Denise Kaplan, Lawrence Kaplan, Peter Coos, Paul Compolo, Tina Compolo, Carol Levy, Evan Levy, Hyman Livingston, William Weber. Our Pearl class of 30 years.
"35 years. Choral, impressive, intricate, creative, interdependent, enterprising, sheltering for other creatures. Please come forward as I read your names. Elaine M. Bromberg, Angela Sisa, Douglas Heyer, Nancy Inglis, Naomi Lowy, Patricia Rudnick, Jerry Rudnick, Judith J. Reiner. Our choral class of 35 years.
"40 years. Ruby, alluring, intense, deep red color, precious gem, highly prized. If Nancy Jacobson, Vivian George, and Gloria Earhart are here, will they please come forward? Our Ruby members of 40 years.
45 years, Sapphire. Reflective, stunning blue color, precious gem, sought after. If Carol Alexander is here, if she would please come forward, or if she's reluctant to do so, we'll just acknowledge her where she is. And we know that Yeti Purwitt, who is recovering from an injury and a fall, is unable to be with us in person, but we have their pictures here. So we honor Carol and Yeti today as our Sapphire members of 45 years.
Years. 50. Gold. Highly valued, lustrous, durable, prized for millennia. If Helen Schneer is with us today, would she please come forward to receive her pin for 50 years? I have not seen her, so I'd be surprised if she's hiding among you. I'm sure she did call us. Oh, lovely. And here is Helen's picture, our 50-year member. And finally, 55 years. It could be you. We have longevity in our congregation. It could be. 55 years. Emerald, radiant, powerful green color associated with green landscapes and seascapes, precious gem, highly valued. Mary Watts is our 55-year member. Mary Watts. We have this wonderful photograph of Mary singing in the children's choir, and a more recent photograph of Mary. Mary, of course, is in Florida, so she is with us in spirit, and we with her.
A blessing upon all those who today celebrate milestone anniversaries as members of the UU congregation at Shelter Rock. Each of you is a person of infinite worth and value. Each of you is prized. Each of you is an integral part of this congregation and this community. May the blessings that we have enjoyed through the time, talent, and treasure you have shared with us also be returned to you as blessings of gratitude, satisfaction, belonging, and joy. So may it always be. Shalom. Blessed be. Amen. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, worship assistants and Jennifer. We move into a period of pastoral meditation. I invite you to enter into a spirit of prayer and meditation. Spirit of life, creative power, mystery, love. From the depths of our hearts on this anniversary Sunday, we offer thanks for this covenantal community of love, acceptance, respect, responsibility, and adventure. May it be in the minds and hearts of this congregation to honor the legacy of commitment and caring represented by all these years of membership, times of recreation and mirth, times of consolation and grief, times of aspiration and hope, times of frustration and hurt, times of exhilaration and joy, times of consternation and doubt, times of reconciliation and peace. Preserve the wider community of caring that surrounds this congregation, that these relationships might strengthen the UU congregation at Shelter Rock and its mission and ministries. Spirit of life, creative power, mystery, love. Richly bless this community of love, acceptance, mutual respect, responsibility, and adventure, today and in all the years to come. So may it always be. Shalom. Blessed be. Insha'Allah. Aho. Shanti. Amen. had a vision of the choir just sort of spinning out of control and disappearing out of that one. What a fabulous arrangement of that song. That was fabulous. And I kept thinking to myself, Norbert Chapek would have been so delighted to have this affirmation of a ritual that he devised in the Czech Republic or in Czechoslovakia in Europe, and to know that the energy of flowers and the universality of flowers is something that transcends all national borders. So thank you very much. That was just fabulous. Norbert Chapek is a name that some of you may not know, and so today we're going to give you a little bit of a lesson in who Norbert Chapek was. He was born in 1870s in Bohemia, which is now part of the Czech Republic. He was Roman Catholic until he went to live with his uncle in Vienna, and much to his family's horror, he became a Baptist. He went to seminary and became head of the Bohemian Baptist Church. World War I, he printed an article critical of the government of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and fled to the US. In exile, he grew disenchanted with the Baptist Church and discovered, of all things, a Unitarian church in New Jersey. New Jersey has done some great things. The American Unitarian Association made him a missionary to Prague after the war. He rented a meeting hall and attracted many what were called come-outers, people who were disaffected with their religions of their childhood and were suspicious perhaps of ritual, but he thought, Chapek did, that ritual was important to people. So through the 30s, he wrote hymns and prayers, and he devised ceremonies, one of which was the flower communion. His congregation grew to love them, and the community, which was called Unitaria, was a center of anti-Nazi resistance. It still exists as a congregation in Prague.
In 1940, Chapek organized a committee to help Czechs escape the Gestapo. They met under the guise of a religious philosophy seminar. With the passing of time, Chapek's sermons became more and more pointed in their criticism of the Nazi regime. For Chapek's 70th birthday, his congregation gave him the gift of a radio. Since he himself, there are those days when words just don't come, when you're so cold you can't speak. He himself spoke 10 languages. He could get news from many sources on his beautiful new radio, but there was a tag attached to this and every other radio sold in that era. The tag read, "Listening to foreign broadcasts will be punished by a sentence of death." One morning as he was listening to the BBC, the doorbell rang, forgetting to turn off this fine radio. He was arrested and taken to Dresden, where he was accused of treason and tried. His German lawyer successfully defended him, but the Nazis refused to send him home, saying the return of the prisoner is undesirable. He was transferred to Dachau, where he died. Refusing to let his spirit die, Chapek's congregation preserved his words and songs and rituals, including the flower communion that we celebrate today. Soon we will reenact this ritual and recall the story once again. The story of Norbert Chapek's flower communion, a story of the way one ceremony and ritual help a community recall events from the past and strengthen the community for the future. Let this flower communion continue to be for us a symbol of the richness and the diversity and the joy of our life together in fellowship, and of our connection to a worldwide religious movement that values justice and fairness and love as the basis of human society. Like Norbert Chapek, may we be emboldened by our faith and by our community to stand up for what we believe in, trusting that this congregation will carry on long after we're gone, just as it did before we arrived. We begin with the consecration of the flowers by using Norbert Chopek's own words. We ask our worship assistants, Rebecca Smith and Laura Torf, to share those words with us.
Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on these, thy messengers of fellowship and love.
May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts, to be one in desire and affection and devotion to thy holy will.
May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike.
May we cherish friendship as one of thy most precious gifts.
May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in this world.
The presence and efforts of all of us are needed in this world to make it beautiful and abundant and spectacular, and to do the work that needs to be done. We join now in the flower communion. We invite you to come down the center aisle and to turn either direction, to choose a flower that speaks to your heart, that speaks to you, and to return to your seats up the side aisles.
Our closing hymn is number 63 in the gray hymnal, or projected on the screen overhead. Spring has now unwrapped the flowers. Number 63, let's rise and body your spirit as we sing this together. Please be seated. Our closing words are also words of Norbert Chapek. In the name of Providence, which implants in the seed the future of the flower, and in our hearts the longing for people to live in harmony.
In the name of the highest, in whom we move and who makes the mother and the father, the brother and sister, lover and loner what they are.
In the name of sages and great religious leaders who sacrificed their lives to hasten the coming of the age of mutual respect.
Let us renew our resolution sincerely to be real brothers and sisters, regardless of any kind of barrier which estranges us from each other.
In this holy resolve, may we be strengthened, knowing that we are God's family.
That one spirit, the spirit of love, unites us.
And endeavor for a more perfect and more joyful life.
Amen.